Cam. Did
Yeah, there we go.
that work?
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to fly through very important before we talk about the contest, and that will be a very quick discussion. We're excited to announce the contest, but right before that, mid-October, we are releasing version 3.3 of the InteractBuilder, and there's some exciting features coming. First of all, the recording behaviors. So what do recording behaviors allow me to do? It basically lets you build an app that allows your users to add a recording. So if you want, maybe if you're creating an interactive book app for children and you want the child to record their name, and then once they record it, they can play it back, you can do that. So, you know, it's very simple. You can set up a button for recording. You can set up a button to stop recording. You can delete the recording. You can play the recording. You know, if I just hit record here, I'm going to say testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. You'll see on the bottom there's a red recording button that goes on. So in interact mode, you know if it's recording. I can then stop the recording, and that button goes away. And then I can hit play. Say testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. You'll see on the bottom there's a red recording button. And then I can hit stop. Goes on. So in interact mode, you know. I might not have programmed the stop. So basically, those are the recording behaviors. They're finally coming to InteractBuilder 3. Very exciting. Even more exciting is we have the ability, there's 2 new behaviors, share recordings and get shared recordings. What that allows you to do, this is extremely powerful. Imagine that you want to create an app, it's a children's book story, and you want your user to be able to record the narration for the story. You'll be able to do that with the recording behaviors. Well, on top of that, imagine that you want to let them share the recording. So imagine grandma who has an iPad who wants to read a storybook to their grandkid. Grandma's in Boston, the grandkid's in Texas. They don't see each other very often, but she wants to read her story, and she wants the child to be able to play that story over and over again. You can create an app that allows you to do that. And we have new behaviors for sharing the recording and getting the shared recordings that makes it very easy to basically upload the recordings. So grandma can just hit a button and it uploads magically to the cloud, and then her grandkid in Texas can open up the same app and say, get my narration, and we'll ask them for a secret phrase that grandma gave me over the phone, and suddenly I hear grandma's voice reading the story to me. So extremely powerful. So that's coming in version 3.3. You can do so much with this. It's going to be amazing. If you're building maybe an educational app for learning languages, you can use the recording options to, you know, record someone's voice as they speak the phrase in Spanish and play it back for them. You can do all kinds of things with these recording behaviors. It's going to be extremely exciting. We also are adding some conditions. And again, conditions are a little more advanced, but basically you can create an action set that will only run if something is true or false. So the example of that is I can show a play button if the page has a recording. If it doesn't, we don't want to show the play button because there's nothing to play. So show the record button. So that's what these conditions allow you to do. And there's a good tutorial on conditions on our YouTube channel. And you can have all types of conditions when you use the InteractBuilder. So that's real exciting. Page backgrounds. Page backgrounds, you can now not only choose an image as a background. So if I go over here to my pages, and let's say I'm on page 11, so let me go to page 11. I can go over here. I can choose a background style. I can choose an image, which we used to be able to, excuse me, we used to be able to choose before. I can choose a solid color, or I can choose a gradient. So in this case, I'm actually using a gradient color for this background. Again, I can change it to a solid color if I wanted to. So again, or I can change it back to my gradient. So real powerful, exciting new feature is page backgrounds. A lot of people were asking for that. Text backgrounds, another request from our users. You can now choose different backgrounds for your text elements. So that's your background color. And once again, you can choose either a solid color or you can choose gradients. So this is the example of the two. So text elements can now have different background colors. Another great feature. Text shadowing, we've enhanced the text shadowing tremendously. So not only can you specify yes or no for a shadow, but now under the shadow options you can choose shadow distance, your shadow size, the opacity of the shadow, and what angle to show the shadow in. So in this case I'm showing it at a 220-degree angle, so you'll see it right above the letters. So that's an example of a shadow, and what a great effect that is. Again, you don't have to create this as a graphic, it's just a text element. So we're tremendously improving the capabilities of the builder in terms of what you can do within the builder.
Wow.
Next exciting feature in version 3.3 is page turn effects. You'll be able to choose different effects when the page is turned. A ton of different effects. You can dissolve, push up, push down, push left, push right, reveal up, reveal down, reveal left, reveal right, and for certain devices, iOS devices and Android devices will support a scroll up, scroll down, scroll left, scroll right, as well as a curl up and curl down for iOS and a flip left or right for iOS. So there's some page effects that are specific for the platform, but in general we will be supporting the different page effects, and you can actually choose to do it either on a page level or on the app level. So on the app level, under navigation, I can choose my page turn effect, and you'll see my different page effects. And if I choose dissolve, I'll just leave it at the default duration, and if I go to interact, when I go to the next page, so it dissolved. If you notice, there was an effect there. I can also change it, change the page effect. I'll change it to push right. Let's see what that one does. And I'll go to interact, and that pushed to the right. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
That looks good, Ken. That's the first time I've seen it. So.
Good. Glad you like it.
It's me on my blunt self. So Ken got me an update like 5 minutes before the meeting started. And thank you, Ken, for doing that. All right. So the next exciting, to me, it's a really exciting feature is shapes. Is the ability to create different shapes. So there's a new element type called shape, and it really gives you a lot of almost drawing capabilities. So you can add all types of shapes. You can add rounded rectangles, squares, circles, pentagons, triangles. You can fill them. You can gradient fill them. You can actually also add lines, which I thought I had a line in here. But basically, real quick, if I want to add a shape, I'll just choose shape. I'll just call it a line. And, oops. Okay. Line, I thought I had a line, but anyway, line 2, and let's move it just down here. Now again, it's a square, so I got to change the shape type. So I'll change it from a rectangle to a line, and I can even choose on that shape whether on a line whether it has arrows. So I can do a start arrow if I wanted to, or I can choose an end arrow, or both. I can choose my line width, which in this case I'll make it thick, so I'll make it a 10, and so here I have a line, and again, I can now just move it around. So imagine what you can do with this for presentations and for even educational apps. You don't have to import everything as a graphic. You can literally create your own graphics here. So you can very easily use this for various different types of apps. Again, if you use the builder just as a presentation tool, you can use these features and use the new shape element. So really powerful. And again, these are the different shape types that we support, and each one has a shape menu where you can specify all of the different options for that shape. So really powerful. You can even change the way the gradient is.
Kayleen is saying, Ezra, new recording option is fantastic. Well done, guys. So.
Thanks. Yeah, Ezra looks like he dropped out.
He did. He just did.
How odd.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Hopefully he'll come back in.
I'm going to re-invite him. I think the Hangout's still going.
Yeah, I mean, I see you.
We're still streaming.
Yep.
Ken, do you want to talk any more about the version 3.3?
Yeah.
You and Ina?
Well, there was a couple of things that Ezra had kind of touched on, but not fully explored. One thing was that for rounded rectangles, you can control how rounded the corners are, so there's more options that you can do there. You can also, kind of overlay them to get certain kinds of effects. So you could have one larger rectangle with a gradient going one direction and a smaller one on top of it with a gradient going the other direction, and
wow, did I
kind of like a 3D kind of image.
Yeah, Ken, you just dropped off for a second, Ezra, but
Yep.
we're glad to see you back. But Ken was explaining a little bit more about the shape feature, the molding and the rounding of triangles and shapes. Why did you guys feel it was important to put the shapes in there, like, or to have the shapes and the drawing as a new feature to the builder?
One of the primary things was, and this goes along with the enhancements to the text element as well, and that is to, as Ezra pointed out a couple times on this, is to minimize the need to have to go to an external program in order to be able to create assets that are used in your apps. And so,
Yes.
for the kinds of things where we were hearing that people were having to leave the program in order to make a graphic to bring it back in,
Yeah.
that takes extra time, and also it means that if you want to edit it, you have to go back to the original program. And so it's once more attempts at making development time faster and easier within the program.
Got it. Oh, Ezra, let's see. Your microphone, Ez. You might have to unmute yourself.
Okay, how's
There you are.
that work?
Yeah, that's good.
I'm full of problems tonight, apparently.
No.
All right, let me go back to my screen share. Another thing, in terms of adding the shapes, for us it's just the beginning. We do plan to add more drawing capabilities within the
absolutely.
app. So that, and keep in mind, a graphic versus a shape. The shape is a true vector graphic, so it doesn't. It's really light in terms
Yes.
of the size of it, in terms of processing. So the more internal graphics, vector graphics specifically, that we can add to the builder, the faster and better the apps will run. So we do intend to expand on that tremendously.
Oh yeah, there's a lot left that we can do.
Yeah. So the next thing I'll just start again is narration. We're redoing the way narration works. So if I'll go back to the second slide here of the application, and you'll notice there's a new option under the text element called narration audio. So any text element can have a narration audio, and then you can add an action. There's new actions for playing the narration. So in this case, I have the audio, download and install the software. I have it playing, and you'll notice there's no interaction because under behavior options, I have this action set running when the page is loaded. And that means that the narration just plays right when the page is loaded. So if I run in interact mode and install the software. So basically, you might not have heard it, but basically it was me saying download and install the software. So we've added narration behaviors, and you'll see there's play narration, there's stop narration, and there's pause narration. And that can be added to any text element, so it makes it really easy to add narration to your pages if you're building an app that requires narration. Now the other part of narration is text highlighting. And we've really, I'm really excited about this feature. We are introducing a whole new engine for text highlighting, and a lot of people have been waiting for us. I know it's taking us a lot longer than we originally had planned, and we had some basic highlighting in the InteractBuilder 2.x version, but it left a lot to be desired in terms of how it worked. So real quickly, you'll see now that for any text, I can specify whether to highlight that text. And the text highlighting, I can just go into a setup screen, and it might not come up here. And that setup screen allows me to specify, it literally lets me record the highlighting speed. hard to describe, Ken. I don't know if you can do a little better job, but
yeah, what you're doing is you're recording the timing of the audio, so that you can highlight the words as the audio is playing appropriately. So the idea is that you get this screen where it shows you the text that's up from the text element, and when you click the record button that's in that window, it starts to play the audio, and as you're hearing it being said, you click on a generic kind of tapping area, and what it does is as you do that, it's keeping track of when you're clicking there. So and then you can play it back and see whether or not the highlighting of each of the words matches properly the audio the narration that's been attached to the text. And of course you can refine it until it's perfectly right, and then it saves with the text element so that when the play narration behavior is executed, if there's text highlighting attached to it, then it will automatically highlight the text as well while the audio is playing. And it's really powerful because it lets you define. There are different highlighting styles that you can choose, and we're going to be providing an editor that lets you kind of set up these styles. But they can be things like, do you just want to color the words? Do you want to underline them? Do you want to put a box behind them? What color's the box? How do you want each of the words to be highlighted as the text highlighting is going on when the narration is playing? So it gives a lot of flexibility in making it match the look and feel of your application.
Yeah, let me show the while you were talking. Let me show you that text highlighting. So to set up the text highlighting, I can just click this button, and you'll see here that I have a play button which will play the audio, and all I need to do is tap in this area at the pace that I want the highlight to occur. So let me play this. Well, actually, let me record it.
Yeah.
Download and install the software. So again, I'm tapping on each word. So again, I can do it again. Download and install the software. Or I can even drag my mouse over this at the speed that I want. So if I hit record again, download and install the software. And then I can play it back to see the speed. Download and install the software. That one didn't take too good. Download and install the software. So basically, and then you'll be able to granularly modify the timing of each word. So it's extremely powerful. And once you're done that recording where you're choosing your timing for your highlighting, you can choose your highlighting style, and you'll be able to define your own style. So you can not just underline words or change the color of the words, you can actually place a shape on top of each word. So in this case, I'll choose yellow round rectangle. And when I go to interact mode, download and install software. And again, my timing was way off just because I've got a bit of a slowdown from the screen capture going on right now. But
sure.
Again, you get the idea of basically, again, if I load it, you'll see the highlighting is using this little shape here, that yellow shape over the word. So it gives you complete flexibility in terms of how you want that word highlighting to work. So it's going to be extremely powerful. We're really excited about the highlighting engine, there's you can imagine there's been a lot of work that's been put into this. So text highlighting is coming in version 3.3. Really big feature.
Great.
Some additional features: improved editing for when you have white text where you can edit the text easily. We now change the background to a gray. We'll have an auto updater for the Interact player for the desktop, which right now you have to manually download and update. We'll have seamless multi-resolution support. Won't get into the details of that, but you'll be able to build multiple versions of your app, and the device will download whatever the optimized version for that device is. So we'll recognize what the resolution is on the device and check to see if there's a better version than the default one that got downloaded from the App Store. We'll also be adding a snap to grid capability and quite a few bug fixes, as usual. So
right.
That's unfortunately the nature of the beast of software development. Is we're constantly fixing things. And
okay, and people can import files from anime software? And different kinds of animation software to help them with smooth animations? Can you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can. We use Anime Studio, but there's other packages out there that you can export frames into PNGs or a PSD, or some people actually use Photoshop for animation. You can import those files as well. So yeah, you've got full capability of importing files from different software applications.
A big variety of applications. Did you want to run through? I mean, what different programs can you incorporate?
Well, even for text, even text files, we can import HTML, RTF files, straight text files from Notepad, TextPad, or whatever text application you're using.
Okay.
In terms of graphics, we can import JPEGs, PNGs, GIFs, not animated GIFs because those won't work on an iPad. I think they're supported on Android, but I'm not sure. In terms of graphic applications, we support Photoshop. We do import from Anime Studio. We do support other applications like CorelDRAW because they can save Pixelmator. All of those can save into a PSD format that can be imported.
And they're not limited to the builder's own font library. You can bring in text fonts from all kinds of sources and graphic sources. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that answers Salty C's question. Okay, thanks, Ezra.
Oh, no problem.